Cyberstalking is the repeated use of electronic communications to harass or frighten someone, for example, by sending threatening emails. Stalking can be carried out in person or via electronic mechanisms. According to privacyrights.com, there are two types of stalking, and they are physical and cyberstalking. Physical stalking is following someone, appearing at a person's home or place of business, making harassing phone calls, leaving written messages or objects, or vandalizing one's property. Cyberstalking involves the internet or other electronic means to harass. Both types cause psychological damage and can potentially lead to an assault or even murder. The psychological damage causes physical, emotional, and mental trauma. For example, sleeping and eating pattern disturbance, hypervigilance, and anxiety, and high levels of stress. These are symptoms of depression. Young adults are the primary targets of stalking. Most victims of cyberstalking are less than 35 years old. 75% of women are the victims of stalking. Men as well as women report their stalking incidents. Most victims know their stalkers. 30% of stalking offenders are people who share relations, current or former spouse, cohabiting partner, or a date. 45% of stalking offenders are acquaintances. 10% of all stalkers are strangers. 15% of the victims does not know the identity of the stalker, and 3.4% of the individuals who are divorced or separated are at the greatest risk for stalking. The financial toll. Stalkers may commit identity theft against victims, including opening and closing accounts, taking money from accounts, or charging purchases to a victim's credit cards. Here are some tactics of cyberstalkers: sending manipulative, threatening, lewd, or harassing emails from an assortment of email accounts, hacking into a victim's online accounts, creating false online accounts on social networking and dating sites, impersonating the victim, posting messages to online bulletin boards and discussion groups with the victim's personal information, and signing up for numerous online mailing lists and services using a victim's name and email address. Social networking through websites such as Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn has profiles that include information such as your email address, phone number, birthday, legal name, names of family members, and minute-to-minute updates on your locations. They also present security issues for victims of stalking. If a victim has a public profile, a stalker could access information even with strong privacy settings. The stalker can access the information by hacking your account, creating a false profile, and sending a friend request or follow request, and gaining to the accounts of your already established connections. According to CDC's National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey, 1 in 6 women and 1 in 19 men have been stalked during their lifetime. 2/3 of the female victims of stalking report stalking by a current or former intimate partner. 24% reported stalking by an acquaintance. About 1 in 8 female victims reported stalking by a stranger. In September 2012, the Bureau of Justice Statistics released a report on stalking victims in the United States. BJS reported during a 12-month period, an estimated 1.5% of persons aged 18 or older were victims of stalking. 3.3% of stalking victims was the highest for individuals who are divorced or separated, and a greater percentage of females were stalked than males. However, the females and males were equally likely to experience harassment. According to the National Center for Victims of Crime, states have also begun to respond to cyberstalking by adding provisions to their current stalking and harassment laws that criminalize stalking by electronic means or the use of computer equipment for the purposes of stalking. California was the first state to pass an anti-stalking law in 1990 in response to the stalking and murder of actress Rebecca Schaeffer. Rebecca Schaeffer was a young actress struggling to find her big break. Schaeffer was fatally shot in her doorway of her West Hollywood apartment building by Robert John Bardo, Bardo was obsessed with Schaefer and had been stalking her for 3 years. He was sentenced to life imprisonment for her murder. Not all states have an anti-stalking law. According to leginfo.legislative.ca.gov, in California, a stalker is someone who willfully, maliciously, and repeatedly follows or harasses another victim and who makes a credible threat with intent to place the victim or victim's immediate family in fear for their safety. Once again, there are two types of stalking: physical and cyber stalking. In this world we live in now, cyber stalking can grow to extreme measures if we are not careful. So be smart with whom you befriend or meet on the internet. Don't be a victim. Thank you.